this.
Hello. Hello, Mav. Good evening, everyone. If you're on the call, please let me know.
Oh,
Drop a
I mean,
message.
sorry, I was speaking. I realized you couldn't hear me. Apologies.
All right, no problem. That's fine.
Um, yeah, please. Sorry,
I
Amaka. Can you
think.
give me a second? Give me a
All
second.
right.
Yeah, I don't know if this was actually shared in the community Discord server. So maybe you can do that while I wait, right? Let's do that in the next, I guess, 2 minutes. Okay.
All right. I will do that now.
All right. Okay. So, Maka, I guess we have a couple of people currently on YouTube. Okay. So I think we should be diving into the CVs. We should be reviewing some of those CVs. Um, looking into the details and, of course, answering questions as well from those that have questions. So, Maka, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mav. Good evening.
All right, all right. So, Amaka, I think someone reached out, regarding, a one-on-one review session. So, I don't know, is this something that you currently do at Beta Copper?
Yes, we do that currently at Better Copper. So if you don't want your CV to be reviewed on a live call, you can reach out directly via WhatsApp and would arrange for a session with a recruiter where you
Okay.
have your CV reviewed one on one or in
Okay.
an in-house team members basically.
O- okay, I think there was a disconnection there at some point. I could not hear you, Amaka, but that's fine. So, I believe what you just said is if someone wants their CV to be reviewed privately, one-on-one, then you are going to reach out for a recruiter. I believe that should be a recruiter in that specific industry, right? And you have that
Yes.
CV reviewed one-on-one. So which means, guys, you can simply reach out. I guess you mentioned your WhatsApp, but I think there should be a link maybe on your website for that. So probably by the end of this session, or if anyone is looking out for that one-on-one session, they will probably reach out maybe on the Discord server or in the WhatsApp community. So, guys, I'm sure you can hear. If you are looking at having that one-on-one review session, you can simply, reach out to Amaka and her team at Better Copper, and they will sort you out. Okay. So we have two CVs to review today, but I still need to see more people join in. People that are interested in, probably folks that are applying for jobs, right? Folks that are applying for internships. Okay. So maybe I will just let's see, share that link, the link that was shared with me. So give me a minute. I'm just trying to grab the YouTube link. I want to share with my community of over um, a good number of people, right? So just give me a minute. Let me do that. Simple comment here. If you are a newbie, Maka, I can hear the sound of your keyboard. Okay, so if you're a newbie, um, looking at having your CV reviewed before interview, all right, before applying for that job or that interview, join in and learn to perfect your CV um, and learn to craft a good CV. Okay, I think that works. A good CV. All right. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so guys, just give us a minute and we'll be off with the review session already. Okay. Um, all right. So Amaka, I think I'm going to share this with you, so you can help me do the sharing. All right. Please,
All right,
you
please
can
do.
share.
Thank you.
Yeah, share to the respective groups, including the yeah, some of the groups are top universe as well. I'm sure some of those folks would enjoy learning how to create a proper CV. Okay, so please help me do the sharing. Thank you. Let's proceed. I'm going to share my screen, guys, and we can start looking at these CVs that I have here. The first one, I believe this CV belongs to a front-end developer, right? I don't think the CV is not actually completed all. I guess you know the person intentionally removed a couple of details from the CV, which makes sense, right? Of course, to avoid spam and all that. Okay, so I'm currently sharing that CV. I can see the person's name. Okay, I can also see the GitHub, the GitHub handle, which is something I always recommend. You have on your CV if you're a developer. If you're a developer, you write code. It makes sense to actually share your website, LinkedIn, your GitHub, especially the GitHub repository, right? Your GitHub profile. Share that handle and allow the recruiters or the hiring managers, click on that link and check out, what you have been working on, right? That makes sense. Okay, I usually prefer to also see, like a summary, right? It's kind of like a way to say you're pitching yourself to the hiring manager or the HR, right? It makes sense because what you say might actually what you say in the objective or the summary section would or might I would say might it might actually help the recruiter make a choice in that initial stage of selecting CVs, right, from a list of 100 or even 1,000 CVs. Okay, sometimes those processes are not manual, all right, but let's assume some tools, right? Some tools have been used to filter the CVs based on the match when it comes to what the job role is actually looking for compared to what you have, right? So let's assume you have used they've used a tool to perform that initial set of filtering, and then you get to the next round. The summary or the objective is a good way for recruiters to also tell if they would love to at least give you a chance for that interview, right? You have a lot of people applying, so it makes sense that you have a way to pitch yourself and sell yourself, the best way you can to the recruiter or the hiring manager. All right. So from what I see here, this person's first name and surname should be here, right? And then the role, which makes sense. Okay. You are applying to be a front end developer, and then you clearly state that here. That makes sense. All right. So here we have your location, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. We have your LinkedIn handle. We also have the GitHub and I believe your email right here, which makes sense. Okay, phone number is not always compulsory. I mean, I don't even think it's necessary. But if you are applying for, say, a Nigerian job, of course, if you are in Nigeria, right, like my friend here, then you should or you can put your phone number so that you are going to make it an extra easy, right, for the recruiter to also place a call if they have to. Okay, except you are you actually check your email regularly, then that makes sense that you don't have your phone number but you have your email. But I think having the phone number is not a big deal, right, in my opinion. Okay, so we have the skills section here. This highlights your skills. um, okay, so the first thing I mentioned earlier, the fact that you don't have an objective or summary, right, that would give you an extra point. If you have it here, you pitch yourself to the recruiter or hiring manager. That gives you extra leverage. Okay, so for the skills section, you have the languages, and I can see HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or TypeScript. Well, JavaScript or TypeScript are languages. Okay, HTML and CSS. I think you should also, probably have a bit of, structuring here. So when you say languages, you can put in these guys. You can say, web development. Probably state these guys. You can even state frameworks. Oh, I see you did that here. Okay, frameworks and libraries, React.js, Next.js, Tailwind CSS, Framer Motion, okay, Radix UI, Redux, and Zod. Okay, so Zod, I believe, is a library used for validation in Node, right? So except there's a different Zod, I mean, come on, if there's a different Zod here, if this means like some sort of UI components, maybe I've not seen that before. But if you are referring to the Node.js validation thing, then I think it would also make sense that you have Node, right? Because now I can't find Node here, Node.js, okay? And that is for the front-end developer, all right? Version control, Git and GitHub, nice. Testing, I can see Jest, I can see React testing library. Now it's good. I like the way you structured this, right? That structuring makes a lot of sense. Also, make sure that when you are applying for a particular role, usually these roles are, I mean, 90%, if not 100%, of the time, these roles would come along with a job description, a JD. We call it a JD, okay? So it comes along with a job description. Make sure that what you are applying, the stack you are stating here, also corresponds with that with the set of stack you see on the JD. I mean, if it doesn't correspond with the set of stack, you can still apply, but it's much better if you are applying for what the company actually needs, so you don't waste your time. Because if you're applying for this role and they probably need I would give an example, Angular or Vue or Svelte or some other framework that you don't state here, then it would have been better if you did not even state that at all, right? Because now that you've clearly stated what you can use, which is great, if this no longer correspond with what they have in the JD, then it's enough reason not to have you, right? I mean, that is basically what the hiring manager would assume, that you don't know Angular or you don't know Vue. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with putting the frameworks here, but just be sure that this corresponds with what you have in the JD. Okay, so I said that like 3 4 times just so that you take note of that. Okay, um, work experience. All right, so I can't see education. Okay, so I see education right here. We'll get to that. So for the work experience, you have okay, so I think one place, right? This is Bookum or Bookium, right? Probably a book platform, I guess. Let's see. So you're a front-end developer here, and you've been doing this job from June 2023 till present. Now, this is the first job. It would also make sense that you state if this is an internship role or if this is a front-end developer full-time role, right? Or part-time role, right? So of course it states remote, but we want to know if it's remote full-time or remote part-time. And if you're still doing this job, that would help us identify if you are a fit for the next job. Because if the next job requires a full time, if the next job requires full time, it makes sense that the recruiter is aware that okay, this is part time, this is not full time, this is contract, this is not full time, which means you have enough time to actually get on the new job, right? If a recruiter should see that you are still on this job, you are yet to leave this job, or you are now looking for a different job, they might be assuming you are trying to get into multiple jobs, and most recruiters will not be comfortable with that. Okay, hope that makes sense to you. All right, so let's take a look at some of the things that you did, or some of the things that you do because you're still there, right? So created. Okay, so now that you are stating till present, you are probably giving us some of the things you've done in the past, but you're still in that organization. Created the company's landing page using Next.js, resulting, I think there should be, okay, resulting in a 70% increase in page loading speed. So my assumption here is that the company probably had.
Hey, Mark.
Can you still see my
Sorry
screen,
to
Amaka?
interrupt. No, I can't see your screen. That's why I'm here.
Oh, for how long now?
I'm just a
Just a
couple
few,
of seconds.
couple of
A
seconds,
few
yeah. Okay,
seconds.
okay. All right, apologies. Can you see it now?
It's loading on my end. Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. I think that was probably a network thing. I see a lot of people have been having this network glitch here and there. So if it happens again, please do let me know. Okay, call my attention. Thank you. All right. So back to this. We have the Bookcom, role, right? And what I was trying to say is, picking on this specific task that you worked on. You said this increased, this actually led to a 70% increase in the page loading speed. So my assumption is that there was an existing landing page, right? Based on what you said, right, resulting in a 70% increase. When you start working with metrics like this, it means you are basically doing what we call upgrades or improvements, right? So you can say redesigned, right? Redesign the company's landing page. Now that makes sense. We know that you redesigned. All right. Okay. So you redesigned and implemented. Okay. Or you, redeveloped. Okay. I think that doesn't really make sense. I think redesign actually, captures what I'm trying to say here. All right. So when you say created, it's like, you're just creating this for the first time, and you are saying resulting in 70% increase in page loading speed. Or maybe you can say in page loading speed as compared to the existing website, right? As compared to the existing website. So make sure you read through this and ask yourself or read this out, to someone and ask, does that make sense? Okay, and then they will break it down for you and probably give you more details as to what you can do to make these descriptions better. All right. Implemented dynamic animations, contributing to a 50% boost in user engagement. Okay, that makes sense, right? And extending average on-page time by all users. Okay, okay. All right. So that makes sense. I love the fact that you gave those numbers, right? It makes sense to always give these numbers because that is what it shows that you did this and there was a result, right? So you implement and you're able to also share the testament of your implementation, the results, the testimony, right? From your team or from the company, right? Okay. So develop the admin dashboard for the company using Next and TypeScript. Effectively integrated data from the okay, I think maybe effectively integrating data from the company's API, enhancing data visualization for real-time updates. This empowered stakeholders with up to the minute insights, improving internal efficiency and informed decision making regarding their products and users. Okay. Um, I'm still trying to I'm still trying to take a look at this, okay? Because one thing I would also make you understand is if you work with a team on a project, it makes sense that you also include that effort, right? Okay, if you work with a team, because I'm dissecting this the same way an experienced engineer, right, would also take a look at this and try to figure out what you did exactly. Okay, we don't really know the kind of dashboard, or we don't know what this company is into. In most cases, it makes sense that you specify, right? Is this a retail business? Is this a transportation business? Right? So that by the time they read through what you mentioned here, they understand, the level of impact, right? So when you say developed an admin dashboard for the company using Next and TypeScript, what you're now trying to make us understand is that you've been programming way longer than you joined the training that you mentioned here as well. April, right, 2022 to July 2023. This is what you stated here. And you are saying that you probably covered from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, Node, and all these things you mentioned, in here. It's very possible to actually know these things in, a couple of months, but then, practice, practice, practice. So if you work with people on your team, right, it's good to also state that, um, with the effort of the team, right? Or I worked with a team of, interesting developers, amazing developers to, design and implement, right? Or I worked with the interesting team or the amazing team, to design and implement, blah, 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 right? Okay, so it doesn't look like you're a one-man army. Looking at the CV as well, I did not see any soft skill. A lot of companies right now look for that interpersonal skill, right? So things like team collaboration, things like basically team dynamics, right? Communication and stuff like that. All right. From what I am seeing here, you look like a one-man army, which is not a bad thing. You can have solo engineers, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but most of these companies hiring you would want you to work with a team because they have a team, right? If you're working for yourself, being a one-man army is not a bad idea, but when working with a team, it makes sense that you have, you state that, oh yeah, so I worked with the team, I did that with the team and all that. Okay. So this empowers stakeholders with up to the minute insight, improving internal efficiency and informed decision making regarding their products and users. Okay, interesting. Build a comprehensive suite of responsive email templates for all user actions, seamlessly integrating all support emails, links, and company info. Nice. Okay, so the emails, okay, the emails records. Okay, so I think there's a typo here. Again, the email records a 30% increase in email click-through rates, boosting customer engagement. So, okay, the emails record a 30% increase. I hope these numbers are not just random because I don't really understand how the email templates, you know, yeah, so please try to make sure that you capture the right thing. Okay, I get the points you're trying to make here, but maybe you should write this even better, right? Okay, you can write this even better. I know that email templates will definitely help out, especially when it comes to deliverability in the first place, right? When it enters your email and it's going to the right channel, maybe the inbox or promotions, yeah. So that would make sense. But when you're talking about the click-through rate, I think it's mostly like a marketing wording thing on the email. All right. But this is good, right? The numbers and the way you captured them, you can fix the recorders that you have here. Collaborated closely with cross-functional teams. So this is what I'm talking about. This is good, right? Collaborated closely, sorry, with cross-functional teams, delivering all projects with excellence and precision and within deadlines. My contributions ensured efficient fulfillment of the company's requirements, and efficient running of the company's day-to-day actions. Maybe you can change this to business, right? Change this to business. That's a better term. Okay, so business requirements, change this to business as well, the business day-to-day actions. All right, so education all school. If you have other, this is a boot camp. If you have other, programs, maybe like your BSc and some other things, you can include that, right? I mean, if you don't have those, it's fine, but just to mention, right? So you don't ignore them, okay? Then for the projects, I don't think you need these lines though, okay? For the projects, this is the project you worked on, which is already here, work experience. So I don't think this is needed, right? I don't think this is needed. Go ahead and include the summary or the objective, yeah, okay. And this is a good CV so far. So make those necessary adjustments, right? Probably you can also utilize the space properly. You have a lot of white space here. The design is great, but I think if you can, utilize this space, then please do well to, utilize it. Okay. Well done, and this is an amazing CV. I hope you captured some of those things I mentioned. Amaka, do you want to add to this before we move on to the next?
No, I think you already did a good job here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, guys, if you have any questions, regarding what we've covered so far, do well to drop those questions. We'll have the next CV, coming up shortly in less than a minute. I'll wait for some questions, just in case you have some things that you're not very clear on. All right. So do well to, raise those questions. I'll give you a minute for that. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So let's move on. I don't think we have any questions. All right. So let's move on to the next CV that I have opened up on my screen. I hope you can see this. Right. I hope this is. Let me see if I can zoom that a bit. Okay. So I hope this is good for you, right? Especially those of you probably viewing on your mobile. So we have this CV. This is Femi Mobisayo, right? Femi is a business analyst. Great. I love the fact you captured this here. It's always good, to capture these, roles. Okay. So when you apply for a job, it makes sense that, as a business analyst, you're not applying for maybe like a software architect role. Okay. So, what you are basically applying for is, is based on the JD that you saw. All right. If you are a backend engineer, right, and you are applying for a job, it makes sense that you specify and your role corresponds with the role that the recruiter is looking out to fill. All right. So I believe this is the address. I believe we had the phone number here. We had probably the LinkedIn or the email. I guess the email, and then maybe some additional details that are meant to be private, right? But yeah, I believe this actually captures this information, right? Phone number, location, blah blah blah. So that is good. Now, professional summary. This is the part I actually love, to pay attention to. This is you pitching to the hiring manager and the recruiter, right, from the HR company. Okay, so let's see. Experienced business analyst with a proven track record in eliciting client requirements, okay, facilitating cross functional collaboration, and driving successful project outcomes. Proficient in risk assessment, change management, and client engagement with expertise in Scrum methodologies and technical tools. Okay, now this is interesting, right? I like this. This is very interesting. When we say technical tools, I think I do get the point, right? Most recruiters might not really get the point, but this is just a little bit of what the whole thing is expressing. I love this. I think maybe what I also expect, to see is that some of these things are captured. I don't know, where did this come from? Yeah, some of these things are captured maybe in small letters. Okay, you already got here, so you have to actually maintain, the rules of, writing, of course, right? Experience can be capital E, but then business analyst should be small letters, right? Because you're already writing a sentence here. Okay, so proficient in risk assessment. You know why I love this? Because you specifically pointed out the areas that you believe you are most proficient in, right? Risk assessment, change management, and client engagement. That is really good. Okay. With expertise in Scrum, that can be small s as well. I know you're trying to, pinpoint the areas that are very important, but I think you should maintain, make it small letter s. Okay. So expertise in Scrum methodologies and technical tools. Okay. Um, yeah, maybe you can do a bit of work here. So um, well, technical tools, you mean like BI tools and the others. I believe that is what you're referring to. Anyways, we'll find out. Let's move on. So, work experience. So, help us defend Canada via remote. Okay, so this was a remote role, business analyst contract, right? Good. So, I think you can say maybe contract business analyst or business analyst, and you put a bracket, maybe like a square bracket or something, contract. Okay. This is Canada, right? And you can put a square bracket, remote. Okay. And of course, you have the okay. So this is okay. 09/2023 till present. Okay, I think I get that. Um, let's see some of the things you did there. Okay, or you do there because you're still here. Eliciting requirements by meeting clients, expert advisors. So you already started with clients. So yeah, expert advisors. Okay. Advisors. Yeah, same thing. Okay, and the development team, right? This already covers a lot of areas. So development team, resulting in a comprehensive requirement document. Okay, so I see you develop requirement documents. Um, so more like a BRD sort of thing, right? Business requirement document. Okay. Then you conduct. Okay, conducted. So I think this is something you still do, right? You're still in this job, so you should probably review that. Conducted technical meetings with the development team to discuss and generate a risk plan. Okay, so you're basically performing risk assessment, just like you've mentioned in your professional summary, which is amazing. Collaborated with the team to prioritize user stories. Okay, so you work with product owners or product managers, releases and iteration plans, right? So you're working with you're doing Scrum, you're practicing Scrum methodologies right there, and this is agile. Okay, I believe. Okay, so conducted stand-up meetings with the development team to demo the product with the clients and the expert advisors. Okay, so I am not going to speak so much to this because this is, already very clear. Although I think it basically overlaps, the role of a product owner at some point, especially in, this number three and number four, which of course I am well aware that, you know, some of these roles basically overlap, right? Solutions architect, business analyst, product owner, depending on the area that you're trying to cover. Okay, but I think you should try to mention more areas around the business analyst thing, right? For example, creating those visualizations. Is that your thing, business analyst? Yes, I think it is your thing. So if you did stuff or if you do stuff around, that, I think you should also point it out here, right? Because it shows that that technical tooling you mentioned, right? So let's see. You should probably have a bit of space. Lamata NG. So this is in Lagos, Nigeria. Business analyst with administration expertise. Okay, 2022 till present. Oh boy. So you're currently active on two jobs. Are you trying to apply for a job with this CV? Because if that's what you're trying to do, then you have a lot of questions to answer here and here. Okay. Although this is contract, but you said till present, which means it's still ongoing, right? This is still ongoing as well. Okay. This is I think it stopped here. You did not tell us what you actually do here, right? You probably intentionally skipped that. So you have this company. I can't pronounce that name. I don't want to murder someone's company's name. So this is in Ogun State. You worked as a business analyst. Okay, you worked in the business analyst department as a project coordinator. Okay, all right, till 2022. Implemented robust risk mitigation strategies. Okay, reducing project risk by 25%, through thorough, let's see, thorough what? Thorough risk assessment and proactive measures. So this is interesting, right? So you see, you tell us what you do, and then you tell us, the impact. Amazing. I've seen that, in other sections as well. Um, okay, let's see. What else are we looking at here? Enhance the brand's market position and reputation as a trusted and customer-focused organization. Although you did not tell us what you did, right? You're just telling us the outcome. We don't know what led to this outcome. Okay. Successfully managed key client relationship and successfully negotiated sales contracts. All right. So I see you're also doing sales negotiation and I don't know if that is also part of the business analyst thing, right? But I'm just assuming that is part of maybe the project coordinator's role, which is not usually the case. But yeah, it stated that that is what you did. So I guess you wore so many hats. Now for the skills, you have your soft skills, you have the technical skills. So this is good. So business requirement documentation. Well, well. I think the only thing I can actually accept here when you say soft skill probably would be change management and this elicitation analysis, especially change management, right? I understand that this is part of what you do, right? But this can actually come in as you know, maybe your expertise, right? Okay, so this can come in as your expertise. Okay, so show me things like team collaboration. Show me things like, I mean, give us the kind of soft skills that recruiters are actually looking at to see in the candidates that they recruit into, organizations, right? Um, yeah, so team collaboration, right? Communication, you know, um, conflict, resolution and stuff. So, I mean, you are able to bring in those values into companies. Companies are actually looking for those kind of values, right? Change management. Okay. Let's look at the technical skills. You have Excel, Jira, Power BI, UiPath for automation, Draw.io. Okay, so which means this is beginning to look like you do some sort of architecture, right? As a business analyst, I know you draw diagrams, and I mean, this is pretty interesting, right? So you do draw IO, you do flow charts, right? Use case diagrams. So some of the fundamental diagrams of describing business processes. I was expecting to see BPMN, right? BPMN or DMN for decision modeling. So if you haven't done that and you're on this call, check it out. I think it's something you should learn, right? Uh, DMN and BPMN. So certifications and training, International Institute of Business Analysis, IIBA in progress. Okay, interesting. Certified business analyst. Okay, so this is pretty much this is a good CV, right? This is a good CV. Dev career, Scrum study. This is a good CV. Education, National Open University of Nigeria. Okay, good. So this is pretty much a good CV. I think some of the things I mentioned earlier that you should check out and probably refine, right? And then probably this role, tell us what you actually did there. Okay, I mean you still work there, so I believe you should have a lot of things to say about your role there. Okay. Um, yeah, what else am I looking at? What else am I looking at for the skills? Check these guys out as well. Give us more soft skills, right? Technical skill, interesting. Excel, Jira, Power BI. So I'm looking at how you do your documentation. You did not state a tool that you probably use for your documentation, except you're using Confluence within Jira, right? If that's what you're doing, Confluence within Jira, no. Oh yeah, I think that's how it works. Confluence within Jira, or let's just say you include Confluence, right? Certifications, education, skill, work experience. This is a good CV and well done to the owner. Okay, so make those adjustments, and I believe this CV is good to go, right? Put in some additional space, right? This is a bit cluttered. Okay, so put in some spacing. It doesn't matter if it gets to 2 pages, right? Just put in a good number of space in between some of these headers, some of these education, certification, and training headers. So this is good. Well done, and this is an interesting CV. Do we have any questions?
Hello, Mav, are you still speaking? Hello, Mav, can you still hear me? Hello, hello, Mav. Guys, if you can hear me, please let me know. Hello, guys. If you're in the chat and you can hear me, kindly let me know so that I know you can hear me. Just drop a comment in the chat. Let me be sure that you can hear me. Hi, Mav. Hello, Mav. Can you? Okay. Thank you,
Oh,
Triumph.
okay, yeah,
The
I can
Triumph.
hear you now.
All right. Okay, thank you, guys. Mav, we lost you for a while.
Oh, how long? How long did you hear when I finished up with the presentation? I was actually presenting the CV and I was explaining. Uh, where did you I mean, where did I stop?
I think last thing I heard was you said the person has a good CV and you should make the corrections to it. I didn't hear anything aside that.
Oh, okay, okay. So it means I was actually talking to myself. Anyways, I was just pointing out the fact that it was an interesting CV. The CV is good. Just a little bit of touches here and there, and some of I think yeah, I think just those areas I mentioned, and a bit of spacing due to the cluttering on the CV, right? There should be some some breathing space basically, right? So once you have that, I believe that CV is good to go for the business analyst role, right? Including adding extra details as to the job role. There was a job role without a description of what he or she is currently doing in that role. Um, yeah, sorry. I mean, I could not determine if the name was for. Okay, I don't think I should even dive into that. But you get the point. So I think I mentioned that as well.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I think
Yes, I
that's
do.
all. That's all. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mav. That was an interesting session. I hope you learned one or two from this session. So before we wrap up, I would like to say this. Better Copper is not just about CV review. We also have crash courses where we help you come up to speed with different technical skills or digital
I don't know
skills.
if it's just me, Amaka, but it's actually breaking, right? I don't know if it's just me, but it's breaking. Can you hear me clearly? Maybe I can help you do that, wrap up. Can you hear me clearly, Amaka?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So your
Yes,
voice is
I can
actually
hear you.
breaking. I think it's the network. Anyways, so
Oh,
yeah. So I think what Amaka is pretty much trying to say there is, but it's clear on your end. Oh, apologies, apologies. Okay, Amaka, please proceed. Proceed. I guess it's my network then.
oh, all right. So what I was saying was Better Copper is not just about CV review. We have other programs that are available. We have a micro degree course where we have different courses in engineering and those in non-engineering course. We have for DevOps engineering, cloud engineering, Python engineering, data analyst, and the likes. And also we have crash courses. Now basically what we do with our crash courses is to bring you up to speed or help you catch up in a particular skills. We have various courses ranging from common skills like how to use Google Drive to complex skills in engineering like API design and development and the likes. You can go out and check out our website at https://bettercopper.com, and that's that. We also have a CV fair coming up on 21st of next month where we'll have both technical and non-technical recruiters. I think a mail will go out tomorrow so you can fill in the form and get ready for that particular event. That being said, thank you for joining today's session. If you have friends who want their CVs to be reviewed, you can direct them to the Better Copper site where they get to fill a form and submit their CVs. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next week, Sunday. Bye, guys. Thank you once again.